There is obviously a very strong method in my madness because I am mostly mad, a little method, but that little method is obviously quite intense. I've been having a really intense romance and love affair with a fabric called malmal, muslin. The natural color of that fabric is ivory, and I think if I had my way, I wouldn't make anything in any other fabric or in any other color excepting that. My sense of fashion is actually it's very understated. I think a certain simplicity that I have in me as a person, so obviously it reflects in the work I do. I don't even go to work most days. I go to work at 1 in the afternoon, and this is something that people envy. I know a lot of my fraternity really envy, and that is something, the only thing I think that people resent me for. When it comes to design, it's only me, myself, and I. That's the only place I have an ego. But all of my ego is only for that. I do everything better now. I'm older and wiser, and I'm in a very happy zone. I have my life all sorted out, and so I'm calm, almost tranquil, and so everything that I do with a much more, in a more effortless way. So things now flow out of me effortlessly. Earlier, they might have had to be, they could have been maybe a struggle to get a thought in process, or maybe a little more angst, a little more anxious, a little more thing. But now it's just all shanti. I started working with my brother and the business that family still has when I was still in college. So I used to come back from college and go straight to where my brother's factories and offices were. So I started doing that, and then I worked there for many years. And at that time I was doing collections for the international market. And then while I was still doing this, at that time my closest friend, God bless his soul, Rohit Bal, actually kind of literally picked me up and pushed me into this whole amazing world of fashion, because I wouldn't have maybe done it on my own, but he literally pushed me, dragged me into it, and there it was. And suddenly I was doing collections, and I didn't even know when it started, how it happened, but I know for a fact that there was just one single-handedly, it was Rohit Bal who actually put me into this, and that's how it actually happened.
The drama that Rohit has always had, the flamboyance and the confidence with which he does things is really what sets him apart, I think. I'm so delighted for him.
What attracts people to fashion initially, which of course is totally far from the truth, is the fact that people think it's very glamorous. The press portrays it as being very glamorous, because what you see in pictures and magazines and newspapers on page 3, the disgusting thing, is designers only at parties or on the ramp or with models or with film stars or with glamorous people. And so everyone thinks, oh my God, this is the best thing to be. It's really quite the opposite, because they don't really come and work with us. They don't have to be sitting in factories and karkhanas 50 degrees Celsius all year round. They don't see all of that. They don't see the blood, sweat, and the tears and the toil. They don't see any of that because that's not what people are interested in seeing. We obviously have more glamorous lives in moments, but they're only in moments, and so those moments are very small. They're short moments. They're not chunks of our lives. They're in little bits of our lives. Fashion is art, period. So I don't care whether you call it wearable or not wearable. All fashion is art if it's done like art. I mean, you have to make it make it in a way that it can be called art. But fashion in itself is an art form. It's not just making, it's not about wearing it and not wearing it. It really is an art. I mean, writing a book is an art. Art is not just only about what you put on a canvas or what you make out of stone or bronze. I think art is what fashion designers do. We create art just a little more often, and yes, now what you see sometimes is also it's sold in the same price brackets, and I think yes, fashion is a very strong art. I was the youngest of seven actually. My father was married twice, so I was the youngest, spoilt rotten by everyone, including my sisters who were like 18 or 19 years older than I am. I think I became this little doll type of toy kind of thing for my entire family, from my sisters to my parents, and I think that's how. Maybe I don't know. I'm presuming that no one up till today has ever told me who actually named me Gooda or Goods or whatever it was, whatever it is. But it's stuck with me for life. I tried very hard for people to stop calling me Gooda, but no, that's not possible. But it's quite cute.
I've known him all my life, and I love his clothes. I think they're beautiful, and he is somebody who would be making one of my wedding garments for sure. So I love you, Rohit, Gada, and my mom loves you, my family loves you. I love wearing your clothes. You make me feel beautiful, and you're a true artist. And I hope you're around for the next 25 years making these beautiful, beautiful clothes and doing beautiful weddings. And that's it.
Yes, everything that I do has a bit of Kashmir in it. It's in my genes. It's now a part of my genetic structure. Growing up in Kashmir was really like paradise for me. It really is still paradise. I wish for everyone to have been able to live the life I led. It was really, really just the kind of life you either dream of or you read in maybe books or you see in pictures. First collection I did was actually, it was a show which was being done by Ensemble in Delhi. I think it was Ensemble's first show. And there was only, the designers at Ensemble that time only did women's clothes and there was no menswear designer. And so Rohit Costa pushed me into doing a menswear collection to go with all the other collections. So I did that. That was the first collection I did. So my collection was kind of extremely scattered because I had to kind of, all the designers who were doing the women's collection, I had to actually match my collection for men with each one of their looks. So it was really quite, it was not easy, but it was a huge success. And at that time, there was nobody doing men's clothes really. And so we sold that collection within 5 minutes, and then we resold it and kept selling it again and again. And it was all very exciting. That was the first collection. There wasn't any name for it because there was too many different collections in the same thing. But that was the first one I did, and then of course after that um, there was a design store which we joined, which was Ensom, as you know. So I joined Ensom, and that was it. That was the beginning.
He's still as young as he probably was when he started way back then. But Gunda's fun, he's irreverent, he's creative. So he's probably going to go on for another 25 years, I would imagine.
The pressure is intense. The pressure to outdo yourself every time is extreme. Everyone just expects this. What will you do now? I just finished a show in Bombay and everyone is saying, now what on earth will you do to make it better? Because they said this is the best we ever seen. I don't know either. I have no idea. And but then again, I say to myself that you can't force that. I just wish sometimes that the pressure was a little less and that people stop expecting so much. Because I'm also just a human being, and it becomes a bit of a. I don't want my work to be stressful. My thought process revolves only around what I want to do. There is no formula that I follow, and there is not something. It's not something that I say, okay, fine, okay. So now I've done a show. Everyone loved the collection. Everyone loved the show. So now I'm going to do this. No, it doesn't work that way for me. I don't read fashion magazines. I don't really see anyone's work unless it really interests me. So I kind of sort of, as far as fashion is concerned, I have blinkers on my eye and I only think about what I need to do. I think the newness comes from spontaneity. It comes from being impulsive. It comes from also taking risks. And so I take a lot of risks, and like I said, most times, touch wood, those risks have kind of worked out. And I think if you don't take risks, then you're going to be just dead boring.
I remember my first fashion show. I had just come back from 10 years in America, and I didn't know how to book models, especially in Jodhpur. We didn't have access, so I reached out to him. I said, I'd just gotten to know him, and so he said, listen, let me come and do the choreography for the show. And I said, that'll be lovely. And it made my life so much easier to have Rohit, Tarun, and a couple of these legendary designers helped me out with my first show. So, to me, he's one of the most generous personalities in terms of design and support system for the younger generations, and to see him reach where he has is really inspirational.
I really want to be known as a better human being rather than an incredible designer. I think for me that goes a much longer way. And I think people who aren't warm, generous, kind are not really people that I can respect no matter what they do. I think the most important thing to have in any profession is goodwill and good thoughts from other people. And that reminds me each day that I must continue being this person. fashion is not for everyone at all. I think fashion is always going to be for just very few people. And I'm not talking about affordability or anything here. I'm talking about sensibility. Mostly and more so in India, where there's so many other issues and so many other important things that need to be sorted out. So fashion is always going to be right at the end of anyone's list. Very few people can actually afford what we call fashion or what fashion is conceived as. And also, it's a kind of thing that really isn't for everyone. You know, I mean, it's not the kind of thing that everyone needs to be a part of. When I thought about putting all these designers in the show again, was something that just happens very, very spontaneously. I just said, why would I not want, him to be in my show? Or then suddenly, why not him and her and her? And all it took was just one little phone call, and they said, of course. And also, it was actually quite epic because it was really getting the entire industry together on that one ramp with a huge amount of happiness and everyone kind of sort of, loving what they were doing. And let's face it, all designers, barring a few, loved to be on the ramp and loved to be on camera. So it was a great, it was just this thing that happened spontaneously. I mean, of course, and some of them I didn't even have time to make clothes for some of them. I said, listen, please, I would have made this for you, just get it made on your own. You're all designers, it just needs to be blue. So a lot of them even wore their own clothes, but proudly saying that it's done by me. My father was extremely stylish, and he was an incredible man who was stylish in every which way, in his mind and his heart and his everything. So I suppose my style icons were perhaps members of my own family. I don't particularly design anything with the thought of it being on the red carpet or walking on the red carpet. Again, like I said, been there, done that. I don't do. Like I said, red carpet normally associated with very elaborate gowns and dresses and evening wear and stuff, which I don't do. Everyone asks me, "My God, why are your clothes so long? Why do you make them so long?" Why? It's just something that I like. That's it. No heavy explanation. I love making long clothes. I make long clothes. Simple. If I weren't doing fashion, normally I say I'd be dead, but no, I wouldn't. If I weren't doing fashion, I'd be a writer. Just love the concept of saying, friend, I'm going away for a year, and I'm going to the south of Spain because I'm going to write my next book. I think that's just such an incredible story and a fantasy for me that I wish I could just do that and say, okay, fine, I'm going to wait. I'm on a sabbatical because I'm going to write a book somewhere. That doesn't work because too many people are dependent on me, and I can't just run away like that.
Oh, he's brilliant. I mean, a Rohit Bal outfit. Its simplicity, the cut, the feel, like the way I'm feeling right now in this, I'm feeling like a princess. But it's very effortless. Look, it's there's no, it's just mal, and look how amazing it looks on everybody. We all feel good in it. So it's timeless, and it transcends age groups, body shapes, but you just feel beautiful.
Mood boards, all this means nothing to me. I have teams to do that for me. So, like I said, because of the fact that I've decided I have the one life and I'm going to live it the way I want to live it. So I decided that I will part with my wealth, give that wealth to capable people. So I've hired the best people there are. I delegate a lot, but the only thing that I'm extremely possessive and careful about is design. So if it's anything to do with design, it has to happen through me, and it cannot happen through any other channel. I make sure that everything that I endorse is actually also designed by me. I don't just see things and say, okay, this. I make sure that I do it myself. So whether it's my new collection of jewelry with Swarovski, whether it's this crystal collection that we're doing from the Czech Republic, whether it's carpets, whether it's we're signed up with Good Earth, I'm doing a whole collection of stuff for them. Every single thing is designed by us.
I have a little story to tell. So this is his 25th year. On the India Today's 25th year celebration, I was planning to wear something, and he had one look at it and said, "Rani or Rekha, you cannot wear this." And within 48 hours, he designed the crimple tissue silver outfit for me, and it dried on me because it wasn't dried within 48 hours. It dried on me and it just looked terrific. Even before that, I loved Gudda. After that, I just adore him. And I adore his style. I just love him.
I think it's incredible to be able to have technology and textile, especially the rich kind of cultural heritage of Indian textile and Indian fashion, and to combine that with extreme technology. It's not easy, it's a challenge, but if done well, it can be really spectacular.
I would say that he has a very sharp eye. He has a very sharp eye on aesthetics. He can and embellishments. I don't think anybody can do embellishments as good as he does, and he's quite good at reviving crafts. I think that's would be for me his key point.
I love food. In fact, the only reason I'd like to live a really long time is because I can keep eating great food. My most favorite cuisine, food in the world actually is Kashmiri food. And luckily I have great chefs in the house who cook the most incredible Kashmiri food. And so I love food when it's presented well. I love food when it's kind of not overpowering in any way. Yes, I am crazy about good food, and you can see. I dream of total shanti. I dream of living in a beautiful cottage, lots and lots of beautiful trees, beautiful flowers, maybe in Goa, maybe in Spain.